Hi, it's Ian from Jobu Design, and I'm just going to show you a quick little unboxing video on how we set up the brand new Algonquin TCF 36 tripod with a Jobu Pro2 gimbal head and a couple of different lenses and camera bodies to show you how to set up the balance. First thing we want to do is just take the tripod out of the box, just as you received it from the store, and inside you'll find a nice handy dust cover. It's also lined to keep moisture and dust and sand out. Now do reach inside and check the bag. There are a couple of goodies in here, which you're going to ask me questions about by email, I'm sure. There's an Allen key and a couple of set screws in there. I'll go over that in a minute. The tripod itself collapsed. It is just under 28 inches long and extended at 62. We fully expect when you add the gimbal head to the tripod, it does put it almost at 70 inches to the viewfinder, which is considerable. For most people, 6'3" and under, it's going to be way more tripod than you need. We do keep it, rather have the tripod tall as opposed to too short. You can always lower the legs. You really can't add much height to it. All you can do is bend down and hunch over. So to set up the tripod, it's pretty straightforward. It is a tripod. There are twist leg locks. There's only two sections. We try to keep it as minimally perturbing to open as possible. Give it a half twist. The legs pop open, cinch it down. Do so with all three. And you're basically set up. As you can see, this is quite tall. I'm 5'10", and fully extended, this tripod is a little bit too tall for me for most shooting situations on flat ground. The difference is, you're generally not shooting on flat ground when you're outside. The tripod legs are going to be either between some rocks, or they're going to be in soft mud or a lake, and you're generally going to be standing up on a rock or a log or something in order to find your best shooting angle. So fully extended is not something that comes up very often. Myself, I'm probably only using the tripod on flat ground less than 5% of the time. The rest of the time, the legs are adjusted, flat to the ground, they're shortened up, and you're usually in a lower position to get a better view and angle for shooting at, water birds, shorebirds. You want to get right down to their shooting angle. So I just want to go over quickly how we install the gimbal head. I happen to grab a Pro2 here, which is still our best, most robust gimbal head for big lenses. And standard 3/8 16 tripod thread on top. It's not really removable except with tools. We don't expect that to accidentally screw out. There's no removable top plate, there's no center column to wiggle. It's a very robust tripod. Take the Jobu Pro2 or your Jobu Junior or Jobu Mark IV heavy duty. Spin it on, get it started. Once you get started, you can crank the whole thing over. I'm just going to lower this down a bit for the video. It's a little bit hard to see. There we go. Once you got it firmly in place, you give it a quarter turn, kind of snug it in. And if you're going to be carrying this any distance in the field, you want to use these small Allen keys. The set screws with the Allen key. And underneath, you're going to find 3 holes, tapped holes 1/4 inch, and you can install these to bolt them into the gimbal head itself. When you do that, this is a semi-permanent setup, and there's no chance that the gimbal head will accidentally unscrew when you think you're panning. I personally don't use the set screws. It's up to you whether you use them or not. It is a little bit annoying, especially if you're taking them in, taking them off, doing it multiple times, but we do provide it. Some people absolutely do want to have the gimbal head attached to the tripod permanently, and they're provided for you. Now, we've talked before about setting up balance on gimbal heads, and it's pretty straightforward. What I got here is a 400 DO f4 with a pro size Canon body. We've already fitted an NX2 lens plate onto this. This is a beefy setup. It's a good 10-12 pounds. It's not something I want to carry around too much. Still on the lighter end of things. And once you got your gimbal head set up, open up the quick release, drop the lens in place, and you'll see it'll tilt either up or it'll tilt down depending on where you initially set it. Just open the quick release, move it around until you find the sweet spot, and you'll find it'll just stay wherever you point after that. That's really all there is to it.